So the tradition used to be that you got a gold watch when you retired. The Lakers gave Kobe Bryant a Ferris wheel. No, really, there was an actual Ferris wheel set up outside the Staples Center last night in a special area they called Kobe Land. Although, let's face it, the way the team structured the evening, Kobe Land could have named the name of the entire facility. The whole extravaganza was about excess. Kobe arrived via helicopter. He was then escorted off a downtown rooftop to a private pre-party, chock full of stars. I mean, the Lakers wanted a performer at this party, so they flew in, of course, Kendrick Lamar. Shaquille O'Neal also DJ'd, which was both spectacular and amazing. Yeah. Seriously, as I stood in that room watching that, I have never wanted someone to invent time travel more, just so I could bring the 2004 versions of Shaq and Kobe forward to see what they were going to turn into. Unbelievable. The theme of excess then carried into the halftime ceremony itself when Magic Johnson called Kobe, quote, the greatest ever to wear the purple and gold. As owner Jeannie Buss revealed not one, but two Kobe jerseys in the rafters. Afterward, Kobe got hugs and congratulations from everyone from Kareem, Allen Iverson, Bill Russell, and if that wasn't enough extra for you, the Lakers and the Warriors then went into overtime, because hey, why not? Look, this was a night of over-the-top spectacle, partly because it's the Lakers, and this is what they do, and do so well, I might add. The franchise's greatest dynasty wasn't called Showtime for nothing.
Speak.
Yeah. But it was also perfectly appropriate because it was Kobe, and Kobe was always too much his entire career. He woke up too early to practice, demanded too much in the locker room, shot too much on the court. And it is exactly what made him one of the greatest basketball players in NBA history. Beloved by millions, absolutely worshipped by this league's current generation. Even the thing that finally did him in, that awful Achilles tear, was the result of too much. In the weeks leading up to that injury, Kobe was refusing to come out of games, remember? He played an unheard of 95% of available minutes. Wow. And by the end, his body simply broke and frankly, never recovered. Too much is always going to be Kobe Bryant's gift and his curse. There were times it drove both his friends and his teammates away. But last night, it's also what brought them back, to shower him with appreciation in the most Kobe way of all. Byron, I gotta go to you first as someone who played with Kobe early in his career, and then of course coached him in his final game. Talk about his basketball legacy. Do you think he's satisfied? Is that a word we can use with Kobe Bryant?
I think it is a word you can use with Kobe, and I think he is satisfied. He's had a year and a half or so to kind of be away from the game and really reflect on the things that he was able to accomplish. And I think he would sit here and say, wow, you know, I talked to him when he was 18 years old, and he said, I want to win championships and I want to be one of the greatest players in this league. He accomplished those goals. You know, so I think he would sit there right now and say, I am very happy with what I was able to achieve in this league. And in 10 years from now, he'll probably be more happy because where he has placed himself in the history of the NBA is unprecedented. He is by far one of the greatest players that ever played this game.
Right. No, absolutely. And to piggyback off that, like, you know, I grew up watching Kobe, fan of Kobe, got a chance to play with him in different arenas, obviously with the Lakers, with Coach right here being our coach, and also the Olympics and All-Star games. His determination is one of the things that made him so special. Me and Coach were talking backstage. What made him so great was his mental state, like his mindset. He pushed himself to the limit all the time and past that limit and past the next limit. Yeah. And that's what made him so special. He had the mental capacity to take it to another level. And then in turn, obviously playing with him, but also playing against him for so many years, it made all of us raise our games to have to do even more to try to compete with him. Because trying to beat him is a tough task.
But that pushing himself, I mean, I think it's so interesting when you look at the final third of his career, right? Or maybe not quite third, but the final last percentage of his career. When you get to the year with the Achilles injury and then the time after that, he pushed himself so much that he physically broke. And then after that, he still pushed. Byron, you dealt with it, where you're coaching him and he's on the court. He still wants to be on the court all the time. He wants the franchise built around him. He wants the playing time built around him. In some ways, that prevented him from being as competitive in the league. His team wasn't as good because he wanted all of that. He missed almost a year of basketball because he pushed himself too hard. That push, that relentless drive, I mean, it's just part and parcel of Kobe Bryant, but do you think that it in some way, he could have done more if he hadn't had that little bit? I mean, that last, I don't know what you'd call it. I have to do the math, but the 15, 20% at the end, it wasn't as good as it could have been as a result directly of him pushing himself
But you
too
know
hard,
what,
or
Rach?
wanting too much.
Yeah, but you know what, Rach? I don't think he would take any of it back because that's just Kobe. Like you said, I mean, his will and his determination, you know, he's going to push that limit. You know, he's going to push himself to the limit. So in hindsight, maybe so. I mean, he might have been able to go out much better. I mean, it's kind of hard to go out better than 60 points in your last game. You know what I mean? But it is a factor when you start really trying to determine all the things that he probably could have done if he wouldn't have pushed himself to the limit. But if he wouldn't have pushed, we wouldn't see the Kobe Bryant that we see today.
Yeah, and you were coaching that 60-point game at the end, and he came out in the was at any point, was he like, okay, I'm good, or no?
No, you know, the crazy thing about it, the last 6 minutes of that game where he was close to 50 and Booz and I were talking about it, I looked at him when I was in the coaches, you know, in our little meeting, our little huddle, and I looked over at him, I could just see him just, you know, breathing so heavily. I said, this guy is so tired right now. I said, but I can't take him out, you know, number one. And when I went into the huddle and drew up the play, I looked at him, I said, KB, you got 6 more minutes in that body of yours? and Rachel, he looked up at me, yeah.
Right.
And I knew then.
Couldn't get the word out.
Yeah, he couldn't quite get it out, but he did.
Right.
But with the 2 minutes left in the game, he couldn't even get it out. He just looked at me and shook his head, yeah.
Right.
But that's the will and determination that we talk about with Kobe Bryant, is that, you know, whatever was going to happen, he would die on that basketball court. That's how much it meant to him to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what made him so special, man. That Mamba mentality, we've only seen that with him.
Right.
And that's what made him so great. Like we as fans, we as colleagues, we as competitors, we as teammates, we admired him for that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as an observer of his through his entire career, it was fascinating because it wasn't all good.
Right.
It's an incredibly, he's a complex character. He is a flawed character. That is what made him more interesting to me. And it's sort of fascinating how his career played out.